But it's interesting. It does feel like UFOs are having a moment, Avi. We
Mm-hmm.
had the congressional hearings. It's sort of something everybody's talking about. It's all the buzz with these stories and the
Yep.
testimony. But it seems like in the scientific community, there's almost a different feeling, at least in relation to the latest developments in the hearings. I want you to listen to something Neil deGrasse Tyson said to Elizabeth Vargas, and then I'm curious what you think about it. Let's take a listen.
Well, in science, what people perhaps don't know is that eyewitness testimony is some of the lowest form of evidence you can bring to a scientific conference, which is odd because in the court of law, it's considered quite high. So here we are in these hearings thinking that the pedigree of the person delivering the information adds truth value to what they're saying. Whereas in science, part of what modernized science was our ability to create methods, tools, and machines to replace human senses in the...
Now, two things with this. I agree to a certain extent with what he's saying and what he's speaking from a scientific standpoint. I agree. But we have to keep in account, we have the videos. I think when they say stuff like that, they don't take into account the videos, the countless videos that have been released now. And to the fact that it's going to be hard to get that evidence when you have so many cover-ups. I think that's the issue here.
The reporting of what we experience. So I just need better data.
I'm curious what you think, Avi, because, you know, for us, it does feel like a moment. It's very exciting with the testimony, and it feels like we're getting new information. But do you agree with him? I mean, from a scientific perspective, is it a little less, is it more underwhelming?
Well, the problem is really that people like Neil are pretending they really care about data, but are not seeking the data. He's talking about it, but he's not practicing science. And what I'm trying to do is go to the Pacific Ocean where...
Shots fired at Neil.
We know there is an object that came from outside the solar system and study it. Now, it's possible the government may have some material, some evidence that we have no access to, but you know, the sky is not classified, the oceans are not classified. And if Neil deGrasse Tyson was really curious about this question, he would have been seeking the evidence rather than saying, we don't have evidence, it's an extraordinary claim, you need evidence in order to say anything, but he's not actually doing it. And practicing science is very different from talking about science. He's talking about science. I'm practicing science. You know, I write scientific...
Sound like this guy got a little bit offended by what Neil said. You just practicing science. You ain't really... You know, what's his name? Avi? Avi sounds like he took that personally.
He's talking about science. I'm practicing science. You know, I write scientific papers, I publish, and I actually follow the evidence. And so that's what we try to do now. What I find strange is that many scientists resist this approach of trying to collect the evidence. Not only that they're not engaged in it, they are trying to push back and say, it's a waste of time. And I say, you just sit back and relax. You know, let the science be done the way it should be done. And I am really curious if the government has materials or information that is currently hidden from view, because as a scientist, you know, I agree with Neil that we need access to the data. So the fundamental question for me is whether we will learn about what lies outside the solar system by studying what's at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean before we learn it from politicians in Washington, D.C. Or maybe some miracle will happen and we will learn from government as well.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we're all waiting for the government to come through and tell us everything. But for people who don't realize, I mean, Avi was literally out there with this massive...
Don't hold your breath waiting on the government. Please don't. Like, bro, my trust level, I'm almost empty. I'm almost on E as far as my trust level goes.
To come through and tell us everything. But for people who don't realize, I mean, Avi was literally out there with this massive, like, rake, essentially, raking the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, this massive mission, and they actually found these little stones And I mean, it was kind of like unbelievable that you were even able to find these things out there. Yeah, there they are, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's quite remarkable because these are less than a millimeter in size, and we searched across a region of 7 miles in length, and the depth of the ocean is more than a mile. And we managed to find those things. And, you know, many of the scientists pretend to be a scientist, but they are not really seeking the evidence, and they push back with very strong opinions that are not supported by anything. So I'm saying, let's bring back science to where it belongs, collecting evidence rather than talking about it in talk show. Speaking about the implications, of course, there would be huge implications. So I have a new book coming out actually in a few days. It's already available for pre-orders, and it talks about how significant such evidence would be for the future of humanity. It will inspire us to do better, to study what lies out in space, because it will be a wake-up call from a neighbor.
In the dense, remote terrains of the Amazon jungle, an extraordinary tale is unfolding. Locals in Alto Nanay, northeast of Lima, Peru, have reported mysterious nighttime attacks from creatures that are drawing comparisons to both the Predator and Spider-Man's Green Goblin. Members of the Iquitos indigenous community recount chilling encounters with 7 feet tall armored beings, distinguished by their large heads and yellow eyes. The nightly terror began on the 11th of July and has shown no signs of stopping. A particularly harrowing incident involved a 15-year-old girl who was allegedly grabbed by one of these entities. As she tried to resist, the side of her neck was slashed. However, these entities don't just limit their menacing to physical harm. Locals report the creatures have the uncanny ability to vanish into thin air. Here's a snippet of footage allegedly taken from one of these encounters. Community leader Jairo Ritaguia Villa is convinced of their extraterrestrial origin. He described a personal encounter where he shot one of the beings, only to find it remained unharmed and subsequently vanished.
That's not good.
Fueled by fear, villagers have organised night patrols attempting to fend off these nightly threats. Interestingly,
see, now that right there should make you nervous, right? If you somewhat believe or think there's a possibility that these things are real, exist, and then you hear that someone fired a shot and it did nothing to them, that should make you even more angry at the Pentagon for withholding information from you.
Some elders in the village connect the new threat to ancient legends of the Palaquiras, fabled beings rumoured to consume human fat and organs. As news spreads, theories about the true nature of these beings proliferate. While some argue that they might actually be extraterrestrial visitors or creatures from ancient folklore, skeptics propose explanations grounded in reality. One theory suggests that these aliens might just be drones masked and cloaked, deployed by illegal miners to frighten the local population. Others believe it could be a manifestation of mass hysteria.
That's still wrong. Even if you're doing that to us, that is still wrong.
Hysteria possibly sparked by some unrelated event. Local authorities, along with the Navy, are now probing into the matter, yet the sheer remoteness of the location, a grueling 10-hour river journey from Iquitos City, makes intervention and investigation a challenge. As the world watches, the situation in Alto Nanay remains a blend of fear, mystery, and anticipation. Whether the culprits are otherworldly visitors, devious humans, or mere figments of collective imagination, the villagers undeniably yearn for safety and clarity. On the 30th of June 2023, TikTok user Kerry Stellarflower Lee shared an eerie piece of home security footage that has since sent a chill down the spines of many online viewers. Captured by their home's doorbell camera, the seemingly ordinary video takes an unsettling turn. The footage shows a DoorDash delivery person arriving at the residence to drop off some Taco Bell. However, as the homeowner watched the live feed, something peculiar caught their attention. Rewatching the footage, a chilling detail emerges. As the delivery...
So what y'all trying to say? Taco Bell brings out the the ghost. Taco Bell attracts the ghost.
Driver bends down, the yard behind them appears empty. But in a blink and you'll miss it moment, the driver stands up and moves to the side, revealing a woman standing in the yard where there was no one just seconds before.
That's crazy.
The mysterious appearance of the woman seemingly materializing out of nowhere has led to wild speculations online. Many viewers are convinced that the footage has captured a ghostly apparition.
I would have never ordered Taco Bell again, bro. I'd have been done.
But what do you think? How do you explain the sudden appearance of the woman? Love to hear your theories on this one in the comments down below.
And what's crazy is the lady that's doing the DoorDash delivery or Uber Eats or whatever it was. Like you feel, if that would have been a person, you would turn around and look, because you could feel kind of when somebody walk up on you, feel that presence. I don't know, it's just a sense you have that activates. And you see, she didn't turn, she didn't look, she didn't hear anything, no movement, nothing that made her turn and look. That's insane. Scary.
Twitter, now known as X, can sometimes be a cauldron of the bizarre and unexplained, and a recent video shared by user Paul White Gold Eagle exemplifies this perfectly. In the footage, stunned onlookers watch in awe as a fiery trail rages across a parking lot.
Get out of there!
Bro, y'all would do anything for some likes and some views, fam. Like, are you gonna go next? Like, and maybe it's just ignorance. Some people don't know that can change direction at the drop of a dime because of so much wind is out there, and you've seen the wind blowing their clothes. So it's some strong gust of wind coming through there, man. That thing can turn and come at you, and you won't be able to move fast enough to get away from it. People don't think.
The clip quickly garnered immense attention, blazing its way through social media platforms. With such a surreal scene captured on film, the inevitable flood of speculations began.
People driving past it? What is
going on?
The initial suggestion from the Twitter user was that it could be a glitch in the Matrix. While this may sound outlandish, this claim opened the gates for a myriad of wild theories, ranging from impending alien invasion to spontaneous combustion. But the reality, as often is the case, was grounded in the practical world. On June 24, 2022, WOIO reported a series of unusual mulch fires in the east bank of the flats in Cleveland, Ohio. The visuals of the incident, with smoke and flames billowing, soon became an internet sensation.
These 20 small fires creating an inferno.
Bar and restaurant owners in the flats stated that such mulch fires were unprecedented in the area. The Cleveland Fire Department has a more down-to-earth theory for the incendiary display. They believe someone likely discarded a lit cigarette which ignited the highly combustible mulch. Strong winds fanned the flames, and the extremely dry conditions prevalent at the time made the environment all the more conducive for the fire to spread.
No, I've never seen it like this either. What is going on?
This next clip's been going viral this past few weeks. This version was shared to TikTok by user HeebieJeebies24. A store owner in Brazil has been noticing some strange and unusual activity inside his shop. Staff have reported feeling uneasy while on shift. They would frequently experience cold spots in the store and even find objects not in their usual spot. One more.
Yeah. If you've ever experienced walking through something, it's just a little space, a little tiny little area, and it's a cold spot there, bro. Like, that's one of the eeriest, weirdest feelings you could ever experience, man. And you know right away it's extraterrestrial, paranormal, whatever. You just know instantly.
Morning, the owner opened the store to find several items strewn about on the floor. Confused, he checked the CCTV footage from the night before. This is what he saw.
Tá aqui? Ah, não. Não, lá vem, ó. Tá vendo? Lá no cantinho, Lá no cantinho.
What is that?
Aí,
What is that?
The security footage shows a strange figure moving from right to left through the store.
Jesus da glória é uma pessoa com
What is that? Nope.
Tá flutuando agora, tá flutuando.
Could this really be a ghost caught on camera? Or is it all just a hoax to drum up some publicity for the store? I'll leave that up to you to decide.
Foi. Ah, não vem aqui não, tá?
Meu Deus do céu.
Yeah, they got something.
Cara, ele é muito grande, bicho.
Ele vai sumir ali, ele vai sumir, ó. Atenção. Ó, ele some.
A recent video.
I don't know, I have to turn that around into a moneymaker. You know what I mean? If this business has got a website or something, I'd have been posting that on the website because people are attracted to that. And they would come from far away just to see or figure out what's going on. I'd have used it to my advantage.
Posted on X by user ShreyXO has been garnering significant attention, showing a commercial airliner accompanied by swiftly moving, unidentified objects.
See? See, that's what these pilots be talking about.
With the use of a thermal imaging filter, these perplexing objects become more discernible. In light of the US government's ongoing investigation into unidentified aerial phenomena and former intelligence official David Grush's provocative assertion of non-human biologics being retrieved in covert missions, the footage has provoked intense debate. Skeptics question its authenticity, while others argue it's a genuine instance of unexplained aerial activity.
Yeah.
Amidst growing speculations about impending extraterrestrial disclosure, the looming question remains: how would you react if the government confirmed the existence of aliens? Join the conversation in the comments down below.
Y'all see this? And it's like it's just they taunting us at this point. Your puny technology. This is basically what I think they're saying to us in my head.
Across continents, from urban cities to serene countrysides, a peculiar low-frequency hum has been making its presence felt, or rather heard. The hum, as it's commonly known, has been a subject of fascination, curiosity, and sometimes annoyance for many over the decades. From the United States to Australia, and now recently from Ukraine, the phenomenon of this ever-present hum remains largely unexplained. In Ukraine, a social media clip has now surfaced showing bewildered onlookers staring at the sky as a deep and unsettling hum resonates around them.
Sound like a dinosaur.
Given the political and military unrest in the region, it's tempting to associate this occurrence with Russia's invasion.
Right.
Yet, there's more to the story. This isn't an isolated incident. Recent captures of this hum come from vastly different corners of the world. This example here was captured by TikTok user Peppy Uptonpock.
Suena como trompetas.
And now this one coming out of Peru.
That would absolutely terrify me to not know where that's coming from. My mind would be in so many different places. You heard me earlier say dinosaur. You thinking about the Russia-Ukraine? Is this Russia doing something we don't know about? What type of animal could that be? Is the ground opening up? What's about to happen?
Caught by Daniel Barker.
Yeah. Godzilla?
Tracing the hum's history provides us with more questions than answers. A 1973 report speaks of a university study examining complaints of a specific low throbbing background noise. This noise, persistently hovering between 30 and 40 Hz, seemed to prefer cooler climates, light breezes, and often early morning hours. The Taos hum in New Mexico was another intriguing episode from the 1990s. Approximately 2% of the population could hear it, with frequencies ranging from 32 to 80 Hz. The enigma extends to the southern hemisphere too. In 2006, Auckland, New Zealand witnessed the hum. Tom Wah of Massey University made recordings suggesting a frequency around 56 Hz. The Windsor hum of 2011 brought its own set of peculiarities. Residents of Windsor, Ontario felt this low droning vibration. It was believed to emanate from Zug Island near Detroit, Michigan. Yet when potential sources like the US steel-operated steel mill were inspected, no concrete answers emerged. Interestingly though, when the mill's blast furnaces were deactivated in April of 2020, the hum mysteriously disappeared. Despite the global nature of these occurrences, not everyone's convinced of the hum's physical existence. David Beguli, the head of audiology at Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge, theorised back in 2009 that it might be a mix of actual sounds and psychological amplification. In essence, individuals might be over-focusing on innocuous background noises, amplifying their presence. As our world advances technologically, the hum serves as a reminder of the mysteries that still surround us. Is it the Earth's murmuring, an acoustic oddity, or perhaps a psychological manifestation of modern life's stresses? Until answers emerge, the hum remains a haunting and global melody.
Could you get any sleep during that time? I don't know, I sleep through anything, but knowing that's going on, I wouldn't be able to sleep. No, I wouldn't. Sound like a scene from Jurassic Park.
Before we take a look at some eerie footage of an abandoned house in Texas, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be notified every time we drop our scary and spooky videos. Nestled in the heart of Weslaco, Texas, stands a seemingly abandoned house, a place where no soul is ever seen entering or exiting. Yet, late at night, eerie noises hint at unseen activities. This has intrigued and puzzled residents of the area for quite some time. TikTok user Abel3 is friends with the neighbours that live right next to this eerie old house. Here's what the property looks like in broad daylight.
Ooh. Could you imagine living next to that?
Then on December 15th, 2018, Abel's friend's home security camera, activated by movement, records a puzzling
I'm glad they got those security cameras. They need them.
Sight.
Yeah, see what I mean? No way. No way.
A young child in a white dress is seen wandering through the neighbour's yard late at night.
How did y'all know that was a child?
Given that the property is believed to be abandoned, with no one ever seen entering or leaving the house, the footage sent shockwaves through the local community. While explanations range from camera glitches to hidden inhabitants like squatters, the most chilling theory posits that the child could be a ghost. As Weslaco residents cast weary glances at the house, one question lingers. Who was the child in the white dress? The mystery remains unresolved, leaving the town in suspense.
No, they need to tear that thing down. Tear it down. Imagine being that homeowner. I'd be petitioning to tear that thing down. But listen, man, y'all spam that like button. God, I love this stuff.